give a short presentation of KPMG. They have really they have findings of this conference, and after that we will try to put up these findings on circulate these findings to everybody, and not only circulate, we will try to take these findings to the all the levels and to the government, and try to get the solutions actually implemented, which for which we have worked, all of us have worked together for 2 days. We will try to make the government, make all other stakeholders, all other agencies to work with us, and see that this conference is not just like any other conference, but this conference actually brings about a change. So, Neeraj Bansal Sahab.
No, thank you, Naveenji. So I'll keep this presentation a short presentation. Essentially, over the day, yesterday and today, we've seen that there are several issues which plague the real estate sector, and there are difficulties and challenges that we have all talked about, and some of them are listed in the the slides that I present before you. First and foremost, it's about the need for urban planning, a better urban planning. In certain cases, we've seen that the urban planning is not existent in the right form, or it's not being done or followed through. The other is in terms of, I would stick to the important ones, so like optimization of the land parcels by unlocking its true value, and need for faster approvals that's been stressed all through yesterday and even today in the previous session as well. And also looking at the perspective that there are certain lessons to be learned, from the certain central and state government schemes which are there, which I've seen that even for mass housing, there are better schemes. We learnt about the Rajasthan scheme as well. Just before in the sessions earlier today, and it was also discussed in terms of certain model that AP is following at the current time. So Andhra Pradesh government has come up with a scheme of self-regulation as well, in which there is no FSI which has been given, but there are rules which have been given or a conceptual framework around it there. Now, when we look at these issues, there are certain solutions to discuss as well. In this 2-day session, we've seen an extensive amount of deliberation happening, as well as the fact that there were views and contributions from both the regulator, the industry, as well as the consultants which had come to this stage. If you look at the better urban planning, in that the specific focus is to have future growth driven by cities which are already existing, so we need to rejuvenate them, ensure that we are able to monetize the land parcels which are there within the city, and also create new cities. That's an important message which is there emerging from this conference. And master plans should have environmental clearances built into them. If that's there, then the approval process will become faster, and one would see a faster track execution of the project as well. Also, in terms of optimization of land parcels, so land primarily with the railways, primarily with the PSUs, and also with the other parts of the city, which is currently with the government. So one needs to ensure that there is a better use of the government land parcels. And along with that, a very, very important aspect is the computerization of land records, which will help and facilitate the exchange of the information on the land, as well as the land approvals to come in faster, and land transfers to happen faster as well. Along with that, another important aspect is to be able to get actually to the dream of mass housing. We need to have better infrastructure in place, ensure that there is an integrated land use and transport plan. So whenever land parcels are being identified in the master plans, there is a good amount of infrastructure which is put in place in terms of connectivity, which ensures that the land prices do not go that high, and one is able to factor in from a mass housing perspective as well. The other perspective was in terms of faster approvals. So delays in approvals, there's been an estimate that it causes up to 25 to 30% of the project cost. At least 15 to 30% has been talked about at several forums. And this is something which needs to be looked at in a very close manner. And in that, if we have defined timelines from the local bodies and authorities for approving projects, and more specifically, single window clearance has been emphasized and has been talked about in this conference. And there were suggestions as well in terms of how that can happen as well. And there are countries abroad which one can draw references from, wherein they use automated softwares available where you could, as a builder, you could actually upload your plans, and it actually satisfies the requirement. It says it's okay. If it's not satisfied the requirement, it tells you that where are the improvements which are required, so which could fast track the approvals process. Also, in terms of the, when we look at the buildings part of it, it's a capital equipment, it's a capital asset. It requires time to generate as well, so that requires good amount of financing options. And there is a need for providing better clarity in terms of the various options that are there in terms of ECB and FDI, so that the developers could take advantage of that and also factor it, including with the more incentivization for the priority sector lending in terms of the EWS and LIG aspect of it. Also, there was a session on the real estate regulation aspect of it, and in the discussion, in the session, the one important thing which got emphasized was the regulation bill should have, it should be a balanced bill. It should cover all the stakeholders from a regulation perspective, which includes the developers, the urban local bodies, the financing companies, and the customer, taking into account the interests for everyone and ensuring that there is a right amount of balance existing and there is a proper economic environment as well to take it forward. The other is in terms of the the focus that we have to build new cities and we have to focus on the existing cities as well, but we also have to integrate technology into it, and no better means to discuss this than the previous session that we just had on the constructing a building in 48 hours, and prior to that we had a discussion on precast materials as well in that part. So it's important to see that we are building the cities in a better way and taking into account the environment as well, balancing the environment needs, and also ensuring that one is able to do it in a cost-effective manner. There was also a discussion on the green materials aspect of it. So there needs to be a better supply chain involved from a green material perspective, so that there are enough supply chain existing, which encourages the builders as well to use them and be adequate in terms of the assurance on the supply availability of it. The other part was in terms of encouraging schemes such as JNNURM, which link the funding with the infrastructure reforms. So you get that in place, and you have the housing as well coming in there. And spoke about the lessons from the Rajasthan and the Andhra Pradesh government initiatives which are there in terms of regulatory changes. And lastly, in terms of public sector part of it, the PPP model, there was a discussion and emphasis that there should not be a scope for ambiguity in the contracts, and more importantly, a need for a robust model which is does not change with the changes in political leadership. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have had I would say, a fantastic 2-day convention wherein we have had a very, very large deliberation happening, and we had some very unique sessions which have been done. And thank you all, and good luck.
Thank you very much, Neeraj. So with this, last 2 days we have been debating, discussing. We were fortunate to have people from the government. We were fortunate to have our President of India to honor that there is a subject, there is a need to engage, and only one problem which was faced was again the political issue, only because of the Rajya Sabha debate. Kamal Nath ji could not join, but we'll bring him again, I think, before the next convention. We are from Naredco, we are extremely thankful to everybody for supporting us, for attending the conference, especially the attendees. Then we are thankful to media, we are thankful to sponsors, without whose support I think we could not